When asked to give a brief overview of the recent Lithuanian-Israeli cultural relations, I had an immediate urge to talk about Lithuanian Story, the first ever Lithuanian culture festival that took place in Tel Aviv in 2019, or to refer to stacks of books, archival material, and artifacts that are often considered to be the source of learning about the people and its culture, or even if its most accurate mirror. However, then I realized that there are many ways to get to know or represent a country and its people abroad. There are many research and collaboration avenues to take, tools to employ. I would like to focus on the one beyond the archival sources, or a very straightforward cultural import, that is discovering through contemporary art. I would like to talk about a few contemporary art projects in the recent years whose creators delve deep into the Lithuanian Jewish, as well as Israeli cultural and historical layers. I have to start with the extraordinary year of 2020, when actually Lithuania has been celebrating the 300th anniversary of the Vilna Gaon, a prolific Talmudist, Kabbalist, and thinker, and the year of the history of the Jews of Lithuania. The emphasis and the goal has always been to celebrate and honor the whole rich 700-year-old history and legacy of the community, and its indelible imprint in the fabric of the country, and most importantly, to actualize it for today. And even though the celebratory program was predominantly domestic and eventually painfully impeded by the ongoing global pandemic, some of very important traces were reflected here in Israel too. For example, Jerusalem Cinematheque's Jewish Film Festival, which was forced to go online this year, has partnered with the Lithuanian Cultural Institute and presented a very special project. A short film by the Lithuanian director Vytautas Puidokas entitled Searching for the Vilna Gaon. It was followed by conversations with the filmmaker himself and the Israeli artist Maya Zak, as well as historians, Professor Eli Stern from Yale University and Dr. Lara Lempertienė, the head of Judaica Research Center at the National Library of Lithuania. Many things about the legendary figure of the Vilna Gaon remain mystery to this very day. What did he actually look like? Are all the stories about his highly ascetic yet profoundly enlightened life mere fiction? In his short but poignant film, the director highlights our elusive knowledge yet enduring impact of this man's legacy, and basically shows us that there are contemporary ways to talk about, and most importantly, instigate discussions about these larger-than-life historical figures and their relevance today in both countries. Filmmaker Vytautas Puidokas is a great example of a contemporary Lithuanian artist of the younger generation who delves into previously relatively little known to him topics of Jewish culture and discovers a whole world of inspiration. Another artist, Goda Palekaitė, comes to mind, and her solo exhibition in Tel Aviv entitled Legal Implications of a Dream. It originated from the artist's long-term research into the history and mythology of the Khazars, a mysterious medieval culture that once existed between the Caspian and the Black Seas. While on a research trip in Israel, just before the opening of her exhibition, she embarked on an unplanned and unscheduled collaboration with a local, Jerusalem-based artist, Eleonora Schwartz. Their collaboration brought about clandestine shooting sessions in rainy, wintry Jerusalem and resulted in a mesmerizing video work entitled Eleonora's Dream. In this work, Schwartz is seen recounting several dreams, which reveal different tales and accounts, matchmaking, marriage, child abuse, and sexual coercion of women among them. These video clips are projected over Schwartz's sleep-talking body, clips that the both artists shot in various communal spaces in the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods of Jerusalem. Or another artist, Emilija Škarnulytė, the winner of the 2019 Pinchuk Art Center's Future Generation Art Prize. Before this honor, she spent her time in an artistic residency at Arad Contemporary Art Center in the Negev. She was exploring the area and with her artistic partner, Tanya Bousset, shot a video entitled Your Body is a Mine. In this video, we can see seemingly carefree, sunny images of the Dead Sea, but also two yellow large excavators digging at its shores. It comments on the industry and the geopolitical sensitivities of this unique location surrounded by a very vulnerable landscape. The artist has returned to Israel since and has been developing yet another video work, tapping into a rather little-known culture of the Black Hebrew community in the south. Yet another example, Lithuanian artist known as Dr. Gora Parazit. She has worked for a period of time in Tel Aviv, both with professional Lithuanian actors, but also actors from the Nissan Nativ acting studio. During a short residency here, she worked with the students and orchestrated an audiovisual experience entitled Electric Dreams. It combined performance art, cinema, and theater. In this piece, scenes from classical sci-fi movies like A Trip to the Moon, The Matrix, Stalker were reenacted and their fragments repeated by actors with maximum precision using a so-called bodily lip-sync technique. The work was presented at Prince Screen Festival in Cholon and Petah Tikva Museum of Contemporary Art. It resembled a sort of high-speed internet browsing, which we all, both in Israel and Lithuania, succumb to in our digitally overloaded lives, this year more than any other. And finally, one for the future, a forthcoming virtual premiere of another short film produced in collaboration between Lithuanian Cultural Institute and Contemporary Art Center in Vilnius. Directed by filmmaker Mikas Žukauskas, it showcases Lithuanian artist Eglė Ridikaitė painting series entitled We Are Guests. The series reflected upon the excavations of the Vilna Great Synagogue site right under the artist's studio windows. One day, Ridikaitė had noticed the remaining floor of an old bima uncovered by the archaeologists working on the foundations of the synagogue. She rushed to draft them in real size before they were covered again. She later developed a painting in which the bima foreground seems to emerge from the past. The painting series depicts the bima floor, but also different historical architectural layers which are not immediately perceived as a part of the local Jewish history, but maybe they should be due to their unique location. More broadly, the film raises a question about the absence of the discussion on these and similar issues in the works of contemporary art. The painting series received lots of public attention, not only due to the sensitivity of the work itself, but also because it invited and encouraged to speak about the Jewish heritage today, collective memory, and its contemporary mapping in Vilnius and other places. These are just a few examples of research-based collaborations with artists and cultural institutions that led to artistic partnerships between Israel and Lithuania, aiming to address those multitude of historical and cultural layers in both countries with artistic means. To my mind, they are the most engaging and impactful tool to learn about and from each other through contemporary art. Contemporary art that is sensitive to the site it is being created in, sensitive to the site it is being presented in. Contemporary art that is sensitive to cultural and human resources it taps into, and also responsible for broader discussions it instigates. These kind of projects represent countries and cultures beyond historical books, and well-known, both historically important, as well as cliché narratives. Reimagined, contemporary, creating missing narratives, dialogues, discussions, new associations, and not necessarily rivaling the old significant ones, but rather expanding the spectrum of notions that our mutual learning, knowledge, and relationship have been built upon so far.